province involved, because everybody lives in a house, everybody cooks breakfast, everybody likes a shower. People don't like to have to heat or cool their houses after midnight. They like to sleep peacefully. And this whole wireless smart meter program robs us of the peace and security within our own homes. We have human rights issues here. We have civil and democratic rights issues here. And the people's right needs to become part of this discussion. So at noon we've got some more speakers. I want you to meet each other. I want you to talk to people on the street. If you're here, grab a red armband, grab a sign, become part of the solution. We can't be apathetic anymore. We can't let our country, our province, be taken over by people that are doing this for money without the greater good in mind. It's time that the greater good of nature, the harmony of all living things was considered. So that's it for me for this minute. I'm Una, Citizens for Safe Technology Society. If you want to learn more about this, go to our website, Citizens for Safe Technology Society, and you can sign the online petition there. Get your friends to go there. You can get a sign to say to Corix, no trespassing. And I know that if you tell them, don't trespass on my land, don't take that meter off and put the no trespass sign on your meter, they're going to pay attention to that. We have letters to BC Hydro. We have what you need. Check us out. And now back to the music.
The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
As Una said, I'm happy to be here speaking on behalf of myself and my colleague Rafe Mayer in our journal, which is called The Common Sense Canadian, which we think of ourselves as basically there to look out for the public and environmental interest in BC. We don't take a political position on things, a party political position, but we certainly involve ourselves in all the politics that surround the management of our energy system in BC, or I should say mismanagement over the last 10 years by this Campbell-Clark government. One thing that we do really stand by is the precautionary principle in every facet of how we manage our environment and public policy in this province. And we were involved in the Tawasin power lines issue, which some of you may be aware of a few years ago. Quite intimately involved. I produced a short documentary on that issue called Crossing the Lines, and I witnessed firsthand how families out there were just asking for a better way of doing things. They were asking for a smarter way. They had the head of leukemia for children's leukemia from Children's Hospital, Dr. Jason Ford, came out to address a large crowd, several thousand people in Tawasin who gathered to ask to simply bury and shield the lines in what is known to be a much safer way. And in response to that, Gordon Campbell came on the news the following day and said basically with the cold-eyed precision of a Swiss banker, the BC Utilities Commission has decided this is the more cost-effective way to do things, and so that's the way we're going. And just like that, he was saying to the people of British Columbia that your safety doesn't matter compared to what we think is the cheaper way of doing this. And it turned out that that program ended up costing $50 to $60 million more that way of doing things than it would have cost if they had just listened to the people in that situation. They had to end up buying back houses from all the people in that community who didn't want to live there anymore, to a loss of $50 million for the BC taxpayer. And it turned out that the way that they could have done things would have cost just as much or less than what they ended up with the overhead route. So that's just an example of the kind of mindset that we are all up against with this government. I also want to talk about the bigger picture here. This is really just one part of a system of the privatization of our public energy system that is basically being oriented towards putting money in the pockets of pals of this government. And this particular issue, you know, of a $73 million consulting contract to people who have been involved, including David Emerson as an investor and a consultant to a company called CAI, who's behind this, people who are on the board of BC Hydro who have been involved with this company in the past. It's part of this really no public transparency to how these contracts are awarded. They typically go to friends of this Liberal government who've made contributions to them politically in the past. And the thing that this issue has in common with the larger issue Rafe and I have been looking at, which is the $50 billion of sweetheart private power contracts mostly for private river diversion projects that have been given away to the likes of General Electric, Manulife Financial, Leadcore, some of the biggest construction and finance companies in North America who are in here, who have gotten a hold of our public system. Accenture Business Services, that is I will say, the bastard child of Accenture Accounting, that was basically the accounting company that went down with Enron in the biggest energy and finance fraud in U.S. history, probably up until the recent 2008 financial meltdown that we saw, and resulted in major changes in U.S. public policy around that. We have people who are connected to that company who are right here today managing a third of BC Hydro's workforce. So this public energy system of ours is being attacked at all different angles, and the smart meter program is an example of that. We saw a public panel review here that was led by 3 deputy ministers of this very government that's gotten us into this situation. And they recently, again, supported this smart meter program and decided to make their, some of their complaints about the staff at BC Hydro, making it sound like the reason that our power bills are supposed to go up 50% is because of the employees at this Crown Corporation, who have been forced to do exactly what this government has told them to do, even when it doesn't make sense for our public energy system or the ratepayer in BC. And the biggest thing that we're looking at here, with whether it be private power contracts or Site C Dam, which is another boondoggle that I've just returned from the Peace River region covering this issue, and the smart meter program, is that all 3 of them have been removed from the public oversight of the public's energy watchdog, the BC Utilities Commission. And you have to ask the government, if there's nothing wrong with these programs, if they truly are providing value for the ratepayer, if they truly are in the public interest, then why remove that supposedly arm's-length public watchdog that's being put there specifically to be immune to political interference, to look out for all the public energy and policy decisions being made in British Columbia? Why have they taken these decisions out of the purview of the BC Utilities Commission? That's something that needs to be changed right here and now. So, I just give you the sense of the bigger context here. I'm gonna hand over the microphone to Milton in a minute. He can get into some of the specifics of what's wrong with this smart meter program, potentially affecting your health and other issues surrounding that. But I just wanted to set the stage here, give you a sense of the big picture here that this smart meter program fits into, and why it's important that we replace this government. If you really care about getting rid of smart meters in the long term, if you really care about stopping this sweetheart giveaway of all these billions of dollars of contracts for private power that we don't need and can't use and are losing on the market, losing 3 to 4 times what we pay for it when we dump it on the market to our neighbors, if you care about keeping our public energy, our power bills in a reasonable level for British Columbians who are already strapped enough as it is, then we have to go a little bit deeper than any one of these programs, and we have to get rid of this BC Liberal government come May 2013. Thank you very much.